Hello, I'm Jen Schumacher here at Pink Flamingo Studios. Today I have Zechra Radawn. She is an entrepreneur, a brand and image specialist, a stylist, a hairdresser, all of the things. She wears many hats. So we're going to dive in today and learn more about this special human being.
Hi, how are you today?
I am doing amazing. So I met Zechra at an event that was here in Brevard County. It was called No Empty Purses. And she got up there on stage and acted like the true boss that she is. And I was just really moved by her speech and her purpose and her faith. And so we have hung out before this podcast, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that little venture together. But like I said, Zechra wears many hats, and I just want to kind of talk to you about where it all began. Like, where did your journey begin with the fashionista stuff? Just you as a whole and who you are today. Where did it all begin?
Well, I could say it started when I was a little girl, playing with Barbie dolls. Every Christmas, I got a Barbie, and I would go in my crayon box, get some scissors, demolish the hair, styling the hair. My grandmother would do a little bit of sewing, sew her scrap material. I would get it, sew a little bit, maybe not at 5, but when I got a little bit older, maybe like 8 or 10, I would get her old scrap material, make clothing. I didn't realize it then, but I was a fashionista, I would say as early as 5, getting Barbie clothes and mix and matching the little pieces and doing a little mini fashion show. You know, when you go back and rewind and replay like your childhood, it's like, oh, wow, I had this creativity and this style and fashion all along. Fast forward to, I would say probably like around middle school, I would practice doing hair on like my cousins, some of the cheerleaders at school. My science teacher would allow me at the end of class, if we had an in-school basketball game, to style some of the cheerleaders. So I would have my styling tools, hair products, and do their hair in the back of class. I was still charging them like $3 to $5. So that entrepreneurship was in me back then. Didn't realize it, but it was. Yeah. And I would style their hair and stuff. And then my grandmother had like this empty room in the back of her house. And I would go in there and I set it up like a little salon. And I would, again, practice on family and friends for maybe like Easter, celebratory events, birthdays. And it really started just practicing on family and friends. And then we fast forward to high school even further. All this time, I didn't have a license. So I was a hairstylist and didn't have a license, but it was a girlfriend of mine. And I loved her hair. It was around homecoming. And I was like, who did your hair? Because I had never seen anyone with their hairstyle and the updo that she had, especially coming from a small town like Cocoa, because I'm born and raised in Cocoa. You didn't really see like styles like that unless you looked in like a hair magazine or things like that. And she told me who styled her hair. And I was like, I got to make an appointment. Made an appointment with a lady by the name of Pamela Hall. She was a stylist in the Cocoa area. She styled my hair. I love her creativity. Yeah. I was probably like around 16, 17 at that time. And I asked her, could I come sit here and just watch you do hair? And she said, yeah, you could. And I would go into her salon. I was driving by this time and just sit there all day and just, you know, after school and just watch her do hair. And I would go home, call my friends, hey, can y'all come over? I want to try this style that I learned at the salon. And that's pretty much where it began. And I did take classes at BCC at the time. It was Brevard Community College. I was going, by this time I had graduated high school, and I'm still going to her salon. And she stated, have you ever thought about going to cosmetology school? And I was like, well, no, I'm taking general courses for business. I always knew I wanted to own my own business. Mm-hmm. I've been an entrepreneur my whole adult life. The last time I worked with for someone, I was 18 years old. So it's been a roller coaster, but, you know, through God's grace and not knowing at that time that God was placing people in my life to help navigate me on this journey. And then after I finished my first semester at BCC, I told my grandmother. She supported me, enrolled in cosmetology school, and here we are 23 years later.
That is incredible. And you're rocking every bit of your style today. I just love it. I really do. And so one thing I've noticed about you for sure is your magnetic energy. I love how you constantly talk about your faith mixed with fashion, and just a way that connects deeply with women. So tell me a little bit more about your faith. Have you always had that? Did that come, in the later years, or how has that been mixed in with your entrepreneurship?
So I always, I grew up in the church. Just a quick little backstory. Both of my parents have passed away. My mom passed away at 2 years old from a car accident. So her parents raised me. And my grandfather was a pastor, so I was a PK. I was at church 7 days a week with my grandparents, and my grandmother was first lady. So I grew up, and I had that spiritual foundation very young. I always believed in God. Well, I would say I knew who God was. But when your life is happening, sometimes when your faith is tested, it's the difference between having faith and believing that God will show up for you. I've seen and witnessed God show up in other people's lives that were close to me. But I'm going to be honest. At some point, I didn't believe that what he did for others, he would do for me. And I was a woman that went to church every Sunday. That was my foundational base. But it took for me to get in a really dark place to where I had to fully surrender and give it to God and be like, okay, God, I've been trying to navigate this thing called life on my own, and it's not working out. I know it's greater for me. I know you have more for me. And I had to just humble myself and just, let go of what I thought my life should look like, being released from control issues, being a perfectionist, not always having it together, but I always showed up from an exterior appearance that I had it together. I mastered the facade, but it starts with what's within. And I didn't know that I was a broken little girl, but I was just navigating. I was in survival mode.
For sure.
I was in survival mode, literally trying to figure it out. Although, again, I grew up in the church from a little baby up until I could make the decision on my own whether I wanted to continue believing in God or what else was out there that could help me navigate. But it took for me to get in a quiet place to really know that the spirit is real and you have to depend on a higher source, whatever that looks like for you. My belief is God. And that's how I was able, to navigate, which then is what really started to birth Bawsy Brand and really becoming Zechra Radawn, because I dealt with identity, not growing up around my mom. Yeah. My dad was there physically, but emotionally unavailable. And I now realize that they did the best they could with the tools that they had. And some of the things that I was taught wasn't always the best. And then, you got to unlearn, unpack, and here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your name, Zechra, I had told you before I had never heard that name before. Where did that come from? It's very unique.
Yes, it is.
Tell us where that came from.
Family members have shared with me that my mom wanted my name to be unique and different. And I always tell people I believe that it came from the Bible. Zechariah, one of the chapters in the Bible is called Zechariah. So when if you take the IAH off Zechariah, that's Zechra, and you just reverse the A and the R, and that's pretty much how you spell my name. So my mom wanted my name to be unique, Zechra Radawn, and I believe she nailed that because I've never heard that I know of another Zechra.
I love it. You're one of a kind,
yes,
for sure. So Zechra Radawn, that's what your makeup line is called, and I'm wearing one of your lip colors right now.
Hopeless Romantic.
Hopeless Romantic, and I will say, I don't really put on a red lip. But she inspired me to put on this red lip, and I actually kind of like it. It's bold, it's beautiful, and it's just one of the how many colors that you have to
So
offer?
I have a total of 12. So I have 7 matte vegan cruelty-free lipsticks, and I have 5 lip gloss. So different shades, from your pink shades to your nudes to your iridescent. I love bold lips. I love anything beauty and fashion. I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the lips, and then you also have other products as well.
I'm actually in the process of relaunching. So I actually originally launched my cosmetic line, Zechra Radawn Cosmetics, back in 2020 during the pandemic.
Okay.
And that was another thing that I would say God gave me the vision.
Yep.
I launched the business, but I'm going to be very transparent. I was in survival mode when I launched it. I do know that God gave me that vision because I was always known, for bold lipstick, bold colors. As you can see,
yes.
I'm wearing the green, the bold print. But I was always known for like my boldness when it came to fashion, makeup, once I really got into makeup. Mm-hmm. And I launched it in 2020. But when I launched it, it was, we didn't have any income coming in. And I know God gave me the vision, but I didn't have a strategic plan. It was like, I know I'm a good salesperson. Mm-hmm. Hey, I have my last $1,000. Let's go ahead and step out on faith. Mm-hmm. And I did it. And I had to take a pause. It did very well. For like almost 2 years, it did well. And because I didn't have a plan, a strategic plan, I kind of was at a plateau. Like I was at the crossroad, and it's like, okay, what's next? Social media was just kind of really, I would say, thriving and coming around. You did more still images versus videos. Yeah. And I was pretty good with that, but I didn't know what was next. And when you're so used to fast money, being in the beauty industry, just as quick as you make it, you can spend it and it's gone. And it was like, okay, what's next? I was literally focusing on my local community, and they all supported me. But then after that, it was like, I don't know where else I can market this to. Yeah. And I kind of got a little frustrated, put a pause. And I'm saying all that to say is that you have to incorporate God in everything that you do. God has to be the foundation in any business venture that you start, any relationship that you connect yourself in. He has to be the foundation, not the backup plan. And I'm only saying not what I read, not what I heard, it's what I have experienced. I did not include him in the beginning. And this is a woman that went to church every Sunday, showed up in my Sunday's best. Mm-hmm. But it's a difference when you really believe that he could do it for you, like you've seen other companies, like, your main brands with cosmetics and apparel. And it took to this moment to really believe that, okay, God, I do have purpose on my life, because when you're in survival mode, you're just thinking about surviving. And I was a single mom at the time and providing for my daughter. So it was a lot that drove me starting, the cosmetic line. But where I am now, I know that wasn't a vision that was meant to be in the background. Now that I have clarity, and when you're struggling with identity, consistency is not even a part of any brand that you build. You have to truly know who you are and who God created you to be, because I allowed naysayers to tell me who I was because I wasn't secure. I'm talking about a woman that showed up looking like a boss. Mm-hmm. And I was not that confident woman that I showed up in certain rooms. People had no idea. I was trembling in my boots, any room that I stepped in at one point. And it took for me to like fully just say, okay, God, I'm going to allow you to drive this car. I can't do it anymore.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Taking it back to what you just said about, you'd show up like a boss, and you had talked about that before. What you put on really does, I know at the time you weren't all there, but what you put on really does help with the way you feel and your confidence. And I mean, it is your image. It's your brand. It's your image. It's you. But how did you marry those two things? It was just through a lot of prayer and finally meeting God in the middle, or he came to you? How did you mesh that persona of showing up like you were all there, but you really weren't?
It took, this is being transparent.
Yeah.
It took for me to really be uncomfortable, and I was not happy with the woman that I saw in the mirror. I felt like I had to put on makeup every day. I felt like I had to fully be dressed every day. But again, it had to start with the inner me, that little girl that I didn't know was hurting. Being bullied in elementary school, with showing up as my very best. You know, my grandparents didn't have a lot. You know, they were on a fixed income, but I had the best of the best with what they could provide. And I took that with me along this journey. However, it took for me to really get in a still place. And one day, I think I was just tired of faking it. You know, they say fake it till you make it.
Yes.
But that wears on you at some point. I literally was faking it my entire life. When I didn't have money, you wouldn't know it. If I didn't have enough food, you wouldn't know it. I didn't want my family to know, because pride and ego will break you all the way down. And I can admit to say I allowed pride and ego. I wouldn't ask for help. Even when I needed it, I wouldn't ask, because I've had people that act as if they had my best interest, and they talked about the things that they did for me. So I would shy away from that. But to fully answer your question, I just was not happy with the woman that I saw. And literally one day, it is crazy how God works. I literally couldn't get a hair appointment from a stylist that sometimes we do each other's hair. Typically, I do my own. My lash tech was not available. And I had picked up a lot of weight. I was knocking at 200's door, which was a lot for me. And I just wasn't happy. The insecurities were on an all-time high. And I looked in my long mirror in my room, and I just cried and said, God, life has to be better than this. I need you to step in. And I fully surrendered. And we're talking about 2023. So it hasn't been a long journey. So people see, you know, us as women where we are now, but they don't know what we've endured to get to this point. And I was just tired. 100%. I wanted to fully walk into who God had called me to be. Mind you, I was doing women's empowerments. I was speaking life into every woman that sat in my chair, because I know God was using me. But I kind of felt hypocritical at some points, because it's like, Zechra, you don't even have your life all the way together. And God reminded me, this is why I chose you, because you don't have it together. Because if you had it together, you wouldn't need me. And here we are.
Absolutely. I think that's what it takes. I mean, whether, you know, I was overweight at one point too, whether you're overweight or you're dealing with something else in your marriage or your family, whatever it may be, sometimes you just get complacent and you just lay there until you've had enough and you know that you're stronger. Maybe it was you who said this, only you can change you.
That's it.
Only you can change you. And that's so true. It's like, don't be mad at everybody else for the way that you feel, because you can only feel the way that you feel because of you. So getting out of your own head and taking a step forward. It doesn't have to be a big step, but a little step.
And I think we don't give ourselves enough grace. Again, something that I've experienced. I can give everyone else grace. Well, I could. I could give everyone else grace except for myself. And I'm thankful for my tribe.
Yes.
God had to remove people that were no longer for me in the new season and the person that I was becoming. And I'm so thankful for my tribe. I have a great group of women that God has placed in my life to help me, you know, for what's next, because you never will arrive. And I was thinking that, okay, when am I gonna arrive? And it's like, no, it's an ongoing journey. And when you think you've mastered one thing, God was like, okay, this is next. I need you to dive deep into this. And I bring up God a lot because he's the foundation. I can't stress that enough. For the ones that are believers, he is the foundation. And one of the things that I promise God is as you elevate me, I have to tell the world that it's you, because we do try to navigate, on our own. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, for me, it didn't work out for my better good. It got me to this point. But what happened to me didn't happen to me. It happened for me, because our life is not our own. Everything that we've experienced in life is to help someone else. We've had conversations and we had quite a few similarities with our life journey. With, being divorcees, God has blessed you with, an amazing husband. Mm-hmm. God has blessed me with an amazing boyfriend that I'm praying that will be my husband one day. I'm going to pray and manifest that. But I realized that I couldn't receive all of God's best until I sat and really healed. Because if God would have blessed me with a man 10 years ago, Lord knows.
How to lose a guy in 10 days.
Hello. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for, where I am. I'm thankful for connections like yourself. And who would have thought that meeting at No Empty Purses would have led, with me having the opportunity, to style you, to be on your platform. I feel that everything is divine connection. And I'm just so optimistic of what's next.
I am too.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have to talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So you specialize in brand image, and even if someone is getting a photo shoot, you could come along and be like, okay, the hair, the makeup, let's do this. Maybe you stand this way. Maybe you need a jacket. Maybe you need a little bit of a different accessory. You're just so good at putting all of that together. And when I discovered that you do that, well, first of all, there's so many different facets of what you do. It's not only like you came shopping with me, yes, but you come to people's homes, and tell me a little bit about that.
So I guess I realized that I've been doing this my whole life, that I can go back to from shopping with friends when we had a special event. They would be in stores and can't find anything to wear. And I'm like, if I come up there and I find something, we're going to have a problem. Yeah. But again, I didn't realize that, you have a lot of women that struggle with putting outfits together because it comes so natural for me. Mm-hmm. I could just go in the store, pick up pieces. And I never was the type of woman that had to get everything from the same store. I could get something from here, get something from there, and put it together. I didn't care about labels or brands, although I do have, some designer pieces. I didn't really care about that kind of stuff. I just like what I like. But I discovered that I had a lot of clients, and again, friends. It started off with family and friends that had this closet full of clothes, but didn't know how to put it together. And they was like, I don't have anything to wear. I'm like, I'm sure it's something in there that you can put together, which is what eventually lost one of the components of Bawsy Brand, is where I come to your home. I call it the closet detox, where we go in and do like an assessment and an audit of your closet, remove items and apparel and shoes or whatever that are dated, that no longer serves you. Us as women be like, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to get back to a size 4. And it's like, you haven't been a size 4 in about 15 years, and that's okay. Let's embrace the body that you have now.
Yes.
Until change happens, and I'll come in and do an assessment. And then we can once we do the assessment, we can remix. I call it the remix edit. Mm-hmm. But we can remix pieces that you have. Mm-hmm. And then I'll give you a list of things that I feel are must-haves for your closet. And then we'll put together some looks like that. If you need personal shopping, similar to what we did. Yep. Again, Bawsy Brand is giving you budget-friendly looks without breaking the bank. We'll go to different stores like the Goodwill, Express, Dillard's, anywhere that has a deal. I am the type of woman, we're going to the clearance rack first.
Absolutely.
Because typically once you finish with the clearance rack, you don't have time to go look on the regular rack because you've bought so many items. It's like I've exceeded my budget. I think we're done here. So I do that. I do a shopping experience where, I help women find different looks, taking them out of their comfort zone.
100.
Out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And even like yourself, your style was pretty fast, fashion forward, maybe just a little bit bolder with, as you see, the popping red lip, like you said, was a little different, but it looks amazing on you, wearing more bold colors. But I want my clients to not be me, to be you and show up as your authentic self, because something else that I experience, especially with the social media streets, it will have you comparing. You can be inspired, but I tell my clients to never compare yourself to what you see on social media. Show up being your authentic self. And that can be challenging at times, especially when you look at the views and the likes and you feel like you got to talk like this and you have to be like this. And that's something that I struggled with. So with helping my clients, become more confident in their style, in their image, I do all of the things that I didn't know was going to develop into this, but just being obedient, really just being obedient in what I've been called to do and be.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we met at Goodwill.
Yes.
I mean, we met at No Empty Purses, but we met at Goodwill to start our Bossy on a Budget shopping day. And no later than 5 minutes in, you find me this blue blazer, which still had the tags on it, by the way.
It did.
It is so comfortable. It is vibrant. It's a color that I probably wouldn't have picked out. It fit, and you're like, it's okay if it doesn't close all the way because you can put, a nice shirt under it. I've always been a little self-conscious, a little bit thicker in the middle and the boob area. It's not closing quite. But I put it on and I was like, this is fantastic.
And it looks so good on your skin tone.
I love it.
It looks really, really good. And I think, like we stated when we were shopping, you just have to try it on. If it doesn't work, it's okay. But let's try it. Let's just try it. Try and try again. If you don't succeed, try and try again.
For sure.
And you fell in love.
I did. So the few blazers that I got that black and white striped blazer. And then the good part was I showed Zechra some things that I had in my closet, and then she's sending me ready-made outfits via text. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought to put this color and the blue together. And then I've got on my leopard, I don't know if y'all can see it, but my nice leopard pointy shoes. And then we made a trip to the mall. And I was like, wait a second, I haven't been to the mall and I don't even know how long. I mean, I grew up here too, but Melbourne Square Mall, I mean, it's been there.
A lot of people forget about the mall because the online shopping, which is great.
Yes.
But sometimes you can go in the mall and try it on.
Yes.
You find a lot of we found a lot of great deals that day. So many.
Yeah, I think the bill was a little over $100 at Goodwill, and I got the two blazers, a shell, a purse,
some shoes,
Christmas flats,
accessories,
earrings, and a bracelet.
And I think, do you have on your bracelet today?
I do. I have my gold bracelet, little clasp bracelet. Is that what we call it?
Bracelet. Yep.
And then at Express, which I always had this mental block, Express is going to be expensive. We found these pants on clearance.
Yep.
We found a pair just like it in olive green on clearance. A bodysuit, which I was like scared about bodysuits, but now I'm like, hey, sign me up.
Because you can always use like what you have on. You can pair it with a nice blazer, because I too have areas that I'm like, I don't want to expose that too much.
Yes.
I'll put on a blazer because I do like a more, fitted top, and I have to share with my clients, hey, it's okay to put on a fitted top. You could put on a cardigan. You can layer it with a sweater. You can put a denim jacket. I'm all about, layering the looks and the nice trousers. And then when I say I'm loving those leopard pumps.
These are amazing, right?
I am loving those leopard pumps. And again, I've heard that on multiple occasions. People are afraid to go in stores like Dillard's and Macy's because you automatically think, oh, that's going to be super expensive. Yep. But the best deals and finds are in those stores.
For sure.
Like, for sure. And then you're getting good quality at an economical price. I also like stores like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, where you can find a lot of the top brands for like a very affordable price. So
I love scoring some good stuff at Ross.
You just have to have patience.
Patience, that's right.
Patience is the virtue. You have to have patience.
You have to go in there not tired, and you have to sift.
You do.
You have to sift through stuff.
And the best days I feel to go is like in the beginning of the week and as soon as they open. If your schedule permits to go as soon as they open, and find out what days like your local Ross, your local TJ Maxx gets their new shipments because you don't have to pick through the clothes. You can be like, hey, I wanted to see like what days you get your shipment, and then you go on those days, or you can get first dibs. I like first dibs. I like first dibs if I can.
We pretty much had the whole Goodwill store to ourselves.
Did. And I love that.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Because it can be a little overwhelming at times, especially if you're not fond of shopping.
Yep.
I have girlfriends that absolutely hate shopping. And I'm like, I'll shop for you. Tell me, like, what are you in the mood for? What do you want to wear? And I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I'll figure out what I think is best on you. And like when I study, I'm a person that I study people. What you like, what you don't like. And I always ask my clients, what is it that you don't like? Because we can be here all day about what you like.
Yep.
What is it that you're like, absolutely will not put on, and then I can build from there. Yeah.
I don't even know. I think I told you I wouldn't wear something that shows my stomach as of right now.
Right.
But I was like, that's because my stomach is a different color than the rest of my body. It does not see the sun, just saying. But anyways, I mean, just the whole experience was a lot of fun. It's something that I didn't think that I would ever do.
Right.
Or that someone was even out there to do that with me. You see all these, the boxes, the shipments, the done-for-you looks online. But we had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. And just having someone there to be like, just handing you stuff that you never would have picked up. So I told you, if you weren't there, I wouldn't have picked up anything that we bought.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Because these pants, I would have assumed, I don't know about that style. I told you, I'll buy 5 of the same shirt in a different color.
and that's okay sometimes, especially like for like the bodysuit style.
Yes.
You know, you can mix that up with a variety of different looks and stuff like that. But as we're sitting here, I'm really thinking back when I used to watch, remember that show, What to Wear, What Not to Wear?
Yes.
I used to be infatuated with those shows.
I love that show.
Say Yes to the Dress, even though it was bridal, like I'm literally sitting here, and as we're talking, it's like, I remember just sitting and watching those shows young. And it was like, okay, that was the preparation for now.
Yes.
When I'm literally sitting on the couch, and it's like, I used to watch those shows, What to Wear, What Not to Wear.
Yes.
And I would be like, well, what were they thinking with this? With what their apparel was. At first it was like,
yes.
But okay, everybody, again, your first appearance is your last.
Yes.
And how you show up, unfortunately, people will judge you. Subconsciously, they would judge you and how you look. And you could be the best realtor. I could be the best hairstylist. But if I didn't look up to par, you wouldn't trust me to style your hair. You wouldn't trust me to assist you with wardrobe. Imagine if I showed up looking bummy at that No Empty Purses. You would have been like, now, how did Kayla have her up there speaking? Probably in your mind, how did she have her up there speaking and she's not even well put together? Because people judge you by your
together to a T.
Thank you.
And you have been every time I've seen you since. And you're so all over your socials. Everything you have on
Thank
is
you.
And so that's my goal, is to go out of the box, pick more vibrant colors, pick stuff just to try it on because you never know. And then, like I sent you the pictures last night. Look what I did.
Right.
I listened
and you
to
did great. You did really good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that outfit together.
Either.
Because that blue leather jacket, I was like, okay, Jen.
Okay. Yes, girl. So you know what? To wrap this all up, it's just fun finding female entrepreneurial, I can't even say the word, entrepreneurial women in the community. And I never would have met you if I didn't go to that event, which completely changed my outlook on a lot of things. But you were up there bold, you were speaking, you looked fantabulous. I was just like, well, damn, she is a boss. Like, and I love how you spell bossy, Bawsy. I just think that's just so fun.
Thank you.
And you are the epitome of your brand 100%. Just from the outside looking in, you are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So I can't wait to see that makeup line roll back out and for other people to go on a little shopping tour with you.
Yes.
And for all those that already saw our lovely reel, our Goodwill reel, we have more where that came from. We're going to show you all of the finished looks. We're going to show you on socials, so stay tuned. Thank you, Zechra, for joining me today. And you'll be seeing us again, no doubt.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.